We are in Geometry, Unit 0, Lesson 1. So in the unit guide, we are at the very beginning. We're just doing algebra review. Even simpler, it's really like 7th or 5th grade review. I don't actually know how far back we're going. Adding and subtracting. The summer has been a long time. Let's see if we still know how to do this. Quiet raised hand. What is the first step? Actually, because we're in geometry, someone volunteer to walk me through this entire problem. Quiet raised hand. For 50 XP, if you get it correct, 20 XP just for trying, you get XP. I see 4, 5 brave volunteers. Colby, walk us through it.
Okay, so you add the 7 and the 4 together, you get 11.
Okay.
You put one of the ones down under the 7 and the 4. You put one of them above the 2 and the 3. Then you add 1, 2, and 3 together, and you get 6, and 61.
61, and we box it. We always box our final answer. Thank you, Colby. You always box your final answers. Get in the habit. Circling is fine. I mean, the best possible thing is to highlight your answers with a highlighter, just so that you can show me where the answer is. But boxing is perfectly fine. Multiplying. Who wants to walk me through this problem? Quiet raised hand. I see Beverly's hand. I see Ellery's hand. I see India's hand. All right, Ellery.
So you're going to multiply 7 times 4, which is going to be 28.
28, okay, I agree.
Okay, so you put the 8 underneath the 7 and the 4, and you're going to carry the 2, put it over the 2, then you do 4 times 2, which is 8, and add the extra 2, which is going to be 10.
Okay.
You're going to put 108 in the first row. Then you're going to go on to multiplying 3, and you need to place markers. You could put a 0 or a smiley face.
I prefer smiley face.
Beneath the 8, and then you're going to multiply 3 times 7, which is 21. You're going to put the 1 beneath the 0, and then you're going to carry the 2, and then you're going to multiply 3 times 2, which is 6, add the 2, which is 8, so you're going to put the 8 beneath the 1, and then you're going to add 108 plus 81, so you'll have 8 plus 0, 1 plus 0, which is 1, and then 9.
Thank you. All right. That was a longer problem, and yeah, you did a good job explaining that. All right, hopefully we all know how to do multiplication. That is going to be in the homework tonight. If you don't know how to do it, you can talk to your friends. There are people sitting in each group that know how to do this. I'm sure of it. And finally, long division. My long division, I would like to write it right here, but I think I'm going to have to write it over here. For your notes, you can just keep going straight down. Let's do long division with example 3. Let's do 3 going into 1,234. So the way that I read this problem is, what is 1,234 divided by 3? All right, so, and you don't have to do the entire problem here, but if someone can do the first step, please raise your hand to share with the class. What is the first step? I see 2 hands. I see India and Anna. India, tell us what the first step is. That is the first step. Perfect. Making sure that everyone has time to copy this down. I'm going to pause right here. I want to ask, what do I do next? But instead, I'm going to ask, is there a trick that will let me know if 1,234 is divisible by 3? Do you remember the trick that I taught us last year? Anna knows, Ellery knows, Colby knows, India knows. Anna, talk to us. What's the trick to know if something is divisible by 3?
You add all the numbers and then see if all the numbers inside of the box and then see if that number is divisible.
Can you please do that for us? So what's 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4?
4, 5, 6, 7. That's 3. 4 plus 3 and then 7 plus 2, 7, 8, 9, and then 2. 9 plus 1 is 10. So
All these add up to 10. And then what's your conclusion?
then that's not divisible by 3 even though 10 is.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you. So we added each of these numbers. It was 10, and 10 is not divisible by 3. Therefore, this 1,234 is also not divisible by 3. All right. I should give extra credit before I forget. Where are we? There. All right. Now I'm going to ask the question, what is the next step in our long division? We just subtracted 12 from 12 to get 0. So I know that my answer is 400 and something. Beverly knows the next step. India knows the next step. Anna knows the next step. Uh-oh.
Oh, I know the next step.
Jade knows the next step. Colby knows the next step.
How's that just now?
Beverly, talk to us.
So 3 is divided by 3 by 1, so you put the 1 next to the 4, and you bring the 3 all the way down,
Right.
and you put it right there, and then you subtract. Since 3 times 1 is 3, you subtract 3 times 3, and it equals 0.
Perfect. Yep, that is the next step. Thank you, Beverly. And the question obviously next is, what is the next step? Hopefully I should see more hands than I saw last time. We're repeating this process over and over again. I see the same hands. I see Lorea's hand. For XP.
My hand is technically
Lorea, talk to us. There are 2 next to the what?
Next to the 1.
Okay, so 2 right there. Then bring down the 4.
Then
Subtract the 4. What am I subtracting from 4? Where'd you get this 4? I see where you got that 4. You brought it down. Where'd you get the second 4? Okay, you're really close. You still get the XP. Is there anyone else that wants to help or talk to us about what's going on up here? India.
So what I see what is kind of off is that what you did was 2 times 2 instead of 3 times 2. But since 3 times 2 is 6 and 6 is greater than 4, you have to make the 2 next to 1 a 1 instead. So then you get 4 minus 3 equals 1.
All right, so let me back up here then. So this is the problem that we had. So you're saying instead of putting a 2 here, put a 1 here. Explain again why we're putting a 1 here. Hold on, it's India's turn.
It's not your turn.
You're putting a 1 there because 3 times 2 is 6 and 6 is greater than 4.
All right. So by putting the 1 here, we say 3 times 1, and that's going to go right here, 3. But we're still bringing the 4 down, as Lorea said. All right. And then I'm going to subtract 4 minus 3. I get 1. I ran out of room here. And I can't go on any further. So this is where you get to make a choice. You get to say, I'm going to have my answer with a fraction. I'm going to have my answer with a decimal. Or I'm going to have my answer with a remainder. Because I did not tell you what to do, you get to choose. The easiest way is just having a remainder. Remainder of whatever this thing was. Remainder of 1. remainder 1. So the answer is 411 with a remainder of 1. All right, we're moving on. After I see all the pencils stop. Not quite.
So what else is there to learn? I thought this is like
Fractions. Lots and lots of fractions. Okay, now I see more pencils stop. Okay. Adding and subtracting fractions. What example are we on now? We're on example 4. All right, let's see if we know how to add 1/5 plus 1/3. So you copied the problem down. What I want to do now is I'm going to pause the video and I want you to work with people around you to solve this problem. If I see people helping people, you're getting 80 XP. If I see people learning, that makes me really, really happy. All right, so we spent a good 5 minutes making sure everyone in our groups knew how to do this. Now, quiet raised hand. How many people are confident enough to share how to solve this problem by quiet raised hands? I want to try to call on someone new that I haven't called on yet today so that more people can get XP. More people can level up. I still see the same hands as before. I see Chewy's hand and Martine's hand that were new. Martine, is your hand still going to be up? Or? All right, Martine, go for it.
So you're going to want the same denominator for both. So you're going to multiply 1/5 by 3.
By 3, just like that?
Yeah. And then 1/3 is going to be multiplied by 5.
5, okay.
So you're going to get 3/15 plus 5/15.
Oh, okay, so you're saying you're multiplying the top and the bottom by 3, not just the whole fraction by 3 then. I see, okay. Yeah, let me come back and make that note. This is exactly how I want you to show your work whenever you're doing these types of problems on the test also. 3/15 and then continue, Martine. Sorry for the interruption.
And then 5/15.
5/15. And final step.
You're just going to add the top ones.
The tops, the numerators, yep.
Keep the same denominator.
And keep the same denominator. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Are we done? So box it. And thank you, Martine. There were quite a few people that got XP for helping people. I was pretty generous in who I saw helping. 8/15. What do we always have to check for our final fraction? We assume it in this class. Starts with an R, quiet raised hand. Anna. Reduce, yeah. Always check to see if you can reduce this. And we cannot reduce this, so we're good. All right, and so that's adding and subtracting. That's the hardest part when it comes to fractions. Let's do something, the easiest thing when it comes to fractions. Example 5. Multiplying. So let's multiply 2/3 times 4/8. By the way, you don't need to write this in your notes if you don't want to, but if you don't remember this, it's something that you want to have. There are many ways that I can ask you to multiply. If you see this symbol, this filled in tiny dot, that means multiply. This cross here also means multiply. And the final way is if two things are next to each other where one of them, at least one of them, is in parentheses. This also means multiply. There's one way, 2 ways, 3 ways to show you how to multiply. I'm choosing the first way here, how to multiply. All right, quiet raised hand. What do I do to solve this problem? What's the first step? Ellery knows, Beverly knows, India knows. Those are the only people that know. Oscar knows, or yeah? Oscar, tell us.
So you multiply straight across, you get 2 times 4 equals 8, and 3 times 8 equals 24.
That is the first.
Oh,
Oh, you want to do the second step too? Yeah, go for it.
after that you divide it by 8.
Divide it by 8. What do you?
Both of them you divide
The top and the bottom. Do you remember the words for top and bottom for a fraction? What are they?
and 8. The what?
Or do you remember the word for the top of a fraction and the bottom of a fraction?
The denominator is the bottom and the numerator is the top.
Very good, yeah. And then your final answer is
1/3.
1/3. Box it. Yeah, well done, Oscar. Thank you. Our last example for our notes today, example 6. It's going to be dividing fractions. So let's do 4/9 divided by 8/16. All right. Is there anyone that can raise their hand with a quiet raised hand and tell me what is that key rule that we talked about in the warm-up that we definitely need for our notes? What was that key rule? I'm going to star this because it should be in our summary. The key rule. Emily. There it is. Keep it. I can spell. Keep it. Change it. Flip it. Bop it. Twist it. All of those ones, yes. And of course, I'm going too fast. I need to pause. Let you write this down. What do each of these rules refer to? And that's a question for myself. Keep it. I don't do anything to this one. Change it. I change this operation. And flip it. I flip this fraction. All right. For XP also, what is the correct word in math for flip it? I'm taking the Hoodis. I have to leave it on because I have my child in daycare, so sorry. Flip it. Starts with an R. Ellery knows. Jaden knows. Anna knows. Larea knows. We'll give it to Jaden. It is the reciprocal. I'm also going to write that in red because it might be something that you want to put in your summaries. Reciprocal. That's the same thing as flip it. This is the word I prefer us to use. Take the reciprocal. After I apply each of these rules to our fractions, we have keep it, 4/9. I don't do anything. It stays the same. Change it. This is a division symbol. It is going to be changed to a multiplication symbol. Or you could choose this symbol. I don't care. That's the change it. And then the flip it. I'm going to take the reciprocal of 8/16 to get 16th, or 16/8, I should say. That's hard to pronounce. 16/8. All right, 4, and then it goes straight back to example 5. You multiply straight across. Up here we did 2 times 4 to get 8. So I'm going to do 4 times 16. Oh gosh. Is there something we can do before we multiply all this that makes it easier on us? I'm seeing some hands. Samantha, talk to us. You can divide 4 and 8. So cross out the 4 and the 8. What does the 4 become? And the 8 becomes perfect. Yes, you're correct. Thank you, Samantha. Anything else we can do? Anything else we can do? Martine sees it. Ellery sees it. Beverly sees it. Colby might think he sees it. He does see it. Martine, talk to us. To what? to 1/8. Like 1/8, like that?
Oh, sorry. 8 over 1.
8 over 1. So this turns into an 8. This turns into a 1. Perfect. Now my new fraction, I can rewrite all of this stuff, or I can just see what's going on. This is going to be a 1 times an 8. Shout it out. Easy peasy. 1 times 8. 9 times 1. There's our final answer. It is summary time. Go ahead and write your summary at the bottom.